Interview psychology is one of the most important. It's important because you have to understand that the interviewer is watching every move you make and listening to every word you say and is interpreting them as to your fit in their organization. Are you prepared? Are you confident? Do you listen? Do you follow direction? Do they like you? Would you work well with others? It's a micro version of how you would fit into the workplace that plays out during the interview. So basically, this is about helping you be confident in the interview through understanding the interviewer's mindset. As we talk about interview psychology, there's some main points that we'll discuss, which include the following. During the interview, you need to help the interviewer feel like the gracious host by being the perfect guest. How you communicate in the interview, through your nonverbal and verbal language, will translate to how the hiring manager believes you will perform on the job. You have to make an interpersonal connection with the interviewer in order to continue in the hiring process. Interviewers are attracted to candidates who show enthusiasm and interest in the job that they're applying for. Although your competencies got you the interview, from this point forward, it's about whether you are compatible with the hiring manager. So let's talk about the gracious host, perfect guest. What we want you to be concerned with is the comfort of the interviewer rather than yourself. Remember that you want them to feel like the gracious host, so you should be the perfect guest. Whatever they suggest, follow their lead. If they ask if you'd like coffee, say, that'd be great. Chances are they would like some also. You can always sip it and leave it on the desk. If they ask you to sit and motion to a certain chair, sit there. Don't usurp their authority in any way. Don't get on the elevator or go through the door first unless they motion you to do so. Don't push the buttons. It's all about control. As they go through the interview, answer their questions, follow their lead, and don't stray from the path that they lay out for you. Your ability to listen in the interview, follow the conversation, and not take the conversation down the road you want to go will tell the interviewer that you're willing to listen and pay attention in the workplace as well. Listening is a key skill to success in the interview because you'll pick up on clues about what's important to the interviewer. If you're only thinking about what you're going to say next, you miss the whole point. The interviewer has control. Be sure to follow their lead. Because everything you say and do gives the interviewer clues as to how you would communicate if you went to work for them, you must always remember to let the interviewer run the show. Business leaders consistently rank listening among the top 5 skills they expect employees to have, and the interview is a great place to show your skill in listening for understanding. Guess what? When there's a difference in the message that you're sending with your words and your body language, the other person gets the message from your body language. Body language that sends messages that you're self-conscious or have a lack of confidence could be a reason for the interviewer to eliminate you. Eye contact is also very important. Be sure to look the interviewer directly, a little above or below the bridge of the nose. You don't want to stare at her or him, but make sure your eyes meet frequently. Also, avoid looking around the room or down at your hands while you're talking, because that can also convey nervousness or a lack of confidence with what is being discussed. Practice looking at someone by practice looking at yourself in the mirror. Put your gaze right above or below the bridge of your nose. Gesturing or talking with your hands is very natural, but keep it in moderation. Getting carried away with hand gestures can be distracting. Also, avoid touching your mouth while talking. You can observe your gesturing by watching yourself in a mirror while talking on the phone, because chances are you're probably using some of the same gestures in an interview. And don't fidget. There's nothing worse with people playing with their hair, clicking pen tops, tapping their feet, or unconsciously touching parts of the body, as it's so distracting that the interviewer may not be able to hear what you're saying. Remember, it just takes one little nuance that turns off the hiring manager so that they eliminate you. Do you fidget with your hands? Do you have a difficult time maintaining eye contact? You should do a self-analysis. What have you gotten feedback about over the years that could be a problem in the interview? Do you ramble? What is it? If you identify an issue, take steps to become aware of when you do that, commit to change, and ask a friend or family member to give you feedback when you don't do it and when you do. Slowly, bit by bit, you can change a long-term pattern. Watch the interviewer for confirmation that you're making a good connection, that they're comfortable with you. Watch for signs that they may have misinterpreted you. If you see a raised eyebrow or a hesitation, for instance, clarify what you've just said if needed, and recognize that you and them are constantly sending messages nonverbally. And that's what people believe if the words don't match. If you see a disconnect, gently say, "It appears that you may have misinterpreted what I just said. Could I please clarify for you?" So let's review the key points of listening. You should always focus with great eye contact. You need to be attentive to the message you're sending with your body language and make sure that it's in alignment with your words. Be sure to show interest in what the interviewer has to say through listening and asking questions. Quiet your internal voice that wants to focus on what you want to say, and always be patient and don't interrupt. He seems to have the skills we need, said the hiring manager, but I don't think this applicant is really interested. He never gave any indication he even wants the job. Lack of interest or enthusiasm during the interview process is on the top 10 lists of reasons for candidate rejection. In addition to competence, employers want someone they would like to work with and who wants to work with them. During the interview, always show your excitement and genuine enthusiasm about the position. You'll have opportunities to make this happen at key points during the interview as well as in your closing statement, but never leave them wondering whether you are really interested. Something about your competencies got you the interview, whether it was your degree, experience, or skills. Now you walk into the interview and you're on an equal playing field with the other 4 to 5 candidates, and it's a whole new ballgame. Every word, everything you do makes a difference as to whether you are the one that connects best with the interviewer. We want you to understand that your compatibility will get you hired. That is, if you are liked the best by the hiring manager, he will hire you over someone else. You need to be prepared to confidently impress them from their first look as they walk across the reception area to greet you until the final handshake when you're leaving. We want you to seal the deal with every nuance of your body language and words from start to finish. You need to look and sound your best, because at this point, they will either feel a connection with you and like you, or through some nuance of what you say or do, not be drawn to you and look for reasons to eliminate you. This is the key point about interview psychology. You will be hired because the hiring manager likes you the best. You need to believe that and do everything you can during the interview to have a warm connection with the hiring manager. Yes, they'll ask you questions about your competence, but take their lead and don't try to share more than what they ask you, because if you push your competence, you'll turn them off. The main focus of your interview should be to help the hiring manager feel more comfortable with you than anyone else they're considering. How do you influence them to like you? Be attentive to the interviewer and never stop listening. Focus on them and less on yourself. Listen to them closely for understanding and also to get clues about what's important to them. Speak clearly so they can understand you. Most people have a very low tolerance for dealing with people they can't understand. Be authentic. Fake people are not likable. You have to be yourself. Address the interviewer by their name. People love the sight and sound of their own name, so make sure you occasionally call the interviewer by name through the interview. Say please and thank you. These 2 simple phrases inject a friendly, respectful tone into the interview. And smile. Everyone likes the sight of a genuine smile. It's an instant connector. Make sure you smile from the first glance across the lobby as they approach until the last firm handshake as you leave, and, when appropriate, in between. In this, we've emphasized the importance of building a genuine connection with the hiring manager, because at the end of the day, they're going to hire the candidate who they feel most compatible with.